Okay, I'm sure I'm not the only one that has this stupid problem of their glue gun constantly drips, drips, drips. But of course, I usually pull it off and throw it away. My hubby was like, well, can't you do something with that? So, here's going to be my experiment. I'm taking 2 chipboard covers, album covers that I'm going to make, and I'm sticking these globs. I gessoed them, 2 coats, just on one side. I've taken my globs and arranged them aesthetically. Hold on. Sorry about that. I've arranged them aesthetically the way I want them, pretty. And then I'm going to take my heat gun and let those kind of melt onto the surface, but just like they are. I just want them to stick. I don't really want them to reliquify or whatever. Alright, I'm going to do that and then I'll come back. Okay, here they are so far. I've got the glue globs, as I'm going to call them. Glue trash. Stuck down. And I went back over it with some gesso again, and I pounced with my brush and had the gesso add a little bit of additional texture. Okay, and so that's like my basic blank canvas right now. As you can see, it's still drying. So, once I decide what colors I'm going to use on it, I'll come back. Okay, here it is after I've gone over the whole thing with another coat of gesso that I just kind of pounced on there. I tried not to. I know there's streak lines from the first 2 coats, and I didn't sand in between, but none of this is going to matter. So here is the same thing after I've pounced a coat of brown, but it's, let's see, brown iron oxide. Focus. Yeah, okay, I dealt a ceramic coat. So, again, there is the start. I'm going to do a lot to it after this. It's kind of cool. Alright, I'll be back. Okay, here's where I'm at next. And I don't know why I can't get a focus on this one of these bottles. This is the Metallic Peridot Folk Art. And I'm just going and adding some pounced stripes of some different colors. And I'm really fading it out. And I know it looks strong on the camera. And just a little word of advice. When you're doing acrylic paints, especially when you first start out, or when you're using these, I hate to say cheaper, but craft paints, because there are way more expensive, definitely way more expensive acrylic paints, but don't invest in expensive brushes. Because acrylic paints are really, really hard on your brushes, very hard. They tear your brushes up really fast. So I just buy the big package for, I don't know what is, $5 or something at the either Hobby Lobby or Michael's, just the cheapy craft paint brushes. You know, it's got all different types of brushes in there. So that's what I tend to use, because you just can't keep a good acrylic brush until you get into some of the really, really more expensive acrylic paints. And then still, they're hard on your brushes. Acrylic paints have a lot of pigment in them, and the pigment tends to, you know, it cuts your bristles. And so over time you can't get a good shape back to your brush. Just like this. That's why I'm using it for what I'm using it for. So, alright. I'll continue on. I've got a couple of more colors that I'm wanting to add to this. And then I'll come back and show you what I do next. Okay, here they are now. Finished. And yes, they're bright. Bright and shimmery. Okay. I just wanted to give you a last look before I'm going to go antique it. Well, actually, I'll put another coat of clear on it. and then I'll antique it, and I'll come back and show you again. Okay, unfortunately, I worked on this last night after hubby came home, and since he has a chair right next to me here in my studio, whatever you want to call it, a lot of times I don't film while I'm working and he's in here, so I got finished with these and I didn't film. I'm sorry. But here's the finish, and I'll try to explain what I did since the last part. After I put the clear sealer on there, and this time I used a gloss sealer, and my memory card is full, so if this cuts me off, I'll be back. I let the sealer dry, and then I went in with this. This came in those old paints from my mother, this Home Decor and Antiquing Gel, and it's in a warm brown. So I put that on all over with a soft brush and waited a minute or so, wiped it off, and after that dried, I sprayed with two different colors of my homemade glimmer spray, this pinky purpley kind of color and this champagne-y kind of color. And while that was wet, I went in and I put some coarse salt that I sprinkled, and I kind of did the salt running in the same direction kind of that I did the paint, and I let that sit and dry overnight. And then this morning I scrubbed all the salt off, and yes, that is a chore. It's not easy to get back off there, but I love the results. Let me see if I can turn this where you can see some of the texture that it leaves on the surface. So anyway, those are my completed covers. I've got two more pieces of this chipboard. Okay, memory card. I'll be back. Anyway, I've got two more pieces of this chipboard, and I want to come back and do this pickling gel over some blues, greens, and turquoise, and do the silver. Oh, I did come back and do like a rub and buff, but with the Lumiere paint. So, alright, really and truly, memory card this time. Alright.